What is up, App Nation? It is Steve P. Young, founder of appmasters.com, the place you go when you want to grow your app downloads and really figure out what's working in the app business today. In this video, I want to talk about a question that I often get about, hey, I have this game, I have this app, it's getting no downloads, and I have really no money for marketing. I either spent it all developing it or I created this app on my own. So if you're in this boat and you're looking to get that early traction, well, this is the video for you. What I always recommend to clients and potential clients is here's how the big game developers are doing. And this philosophy works whether you're a game developer or just a normal app developer. It's getting your first 1,000 users. Now I get it. You're like, I don't have money for marketing, or I need to figure out how to get the first 1,000 users. Now there's that free promotional campaign that I'll link up into the card up there, and then also ASO. So there's free ways to get downloads, but the first thing you have to do is get those initial 1,000 downloads, because what you're gonna find out, and usually this is the case when I talk to these game developers, is the product is not working well. What you're gonna find is that the product is broken, that there are things wrong, critical things that are wrong with the product, whether it's the onboarding experience, whether it's the gameplay, whether it's the graphics. And usually people who have this problem have not talked to other people and shown the app to other people. And so try to get that first 1,000 users, because then you can analyze what's the onboarding experience like. Are they dropping off? What's the day one retention like? What's the day 7? And then modify your product. So it is a step-by-step approach that I always recommend to clients. Get that first 1,000, then get the next 5,000, then get the next 10,000. And if you really have no budget whatsoever, all you gotta do is go to a nearby coffee shop, have your app, and just give somebody your phone and be like, hey, can you try out this app and give me some brutal feedback? Or just say, look, hey, I'm doing a case study. I actually work for marketing for this company. I'll buy you coffee, and we just want you to play with the app and see what you think and give us some brutal feedback, and I'll take it back to the developers, right? So that way they don't feel like they can be completely honest, and then they're not gonna feel like, oh, this guy created it, I have to be really nice to him. But hey, look, I'm just part of the marketing team, the research team. This company hired us to give brutal feedback from normal people like yourself. And so I'd love to buy you a cup of coffee. All you gotta do is check out this app, right? That's the best way, because a lot of times once I see an app and the messaging is clear, I got no traction, I have no money for marketing, I created this on my own, or I spent all my money on development, there are critical errors that I'm always seeing, right? Whether it's an onboarding experience, which is usually the case, or the gameplay just isn't that great. And these big gaming companies, once they go through that soft launch and get that first 1,000, then the next 5,000, then the next 10,000, and still, if the LTV, the lifetime value of a user, if the retention isn't strong, guess what they do? They just can it. You know, they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars developing this app or game, and they just can it because the metrics just aren't there. And that's why it's so critical to do this step-by-step process of getting your first 1,000, analyzing the results, and then iterating on the product, and then getting the next 5, going after the next milestone, which is 5,000, and the next milestone is 10,000. So have these different milestones in place so that you can start iterating on your product. And if you got no money to spend on marketing, get the first 100. Ask people what they think about the app, just like I told you, because those are critical feedback that you need. I always tell clients, look, this is one man's opinion. So if you want, go find other people. But this is how I feel about your particular app. The other thing I want to recommend too is don't be afraid of continuing to create more apps. And so this is particularly useful for all you game developers out there. Now that creating games with Buildbox and Unity becomes so easy to create, don't forget that Angry Birds, that's the 51st app. Color Switch, which I just did an interview with David Reichelt, that was his 41st app. Sometimes you just need to go through and start creating more and more apps to really figure out that, oh, this is what works in the app space. And so if you're a developer out there, you know how to code, you created this own game yourself, don't be afraid of creating more and more. Limit the amount of time that you're actually going to be spending creating the game, and then just start launching. And you're going to find out what games are working well today and study the market. Oh, these are the type of games. So study the free games charts. Look at what games are working, download them, and see how you can mix and match different elements of different games to then create a brand new game, just like David did with Color Switch. The last thing I want to mention is I've got a brand new YouTube series / podcast up. If you guys have noticed it, I haven't really officially announced it, but essentially it is Games with Entrepreneurs. David Reichelt was our very first episode, and so I'll put it into the end card. But please, please, please check it out. I'm super, super excited about this brand new show where we talk to amazing, inspirational entrepreneurs, not just in the app space, but just entrepreneurs and founders. And we talk about their life and how they grew up, because I believe that it's more important to listen to the whys and the stories of how people became entrepreneurs and the struggles they went through, instead of always talking about how did you do this, how did you do that, how to grow your downloads. So sometimes it's more important for us to talk about the macro strategies rather than always the micro strategies that I try to do on YouTube through App Masters, because I want you to know that I know what I'm talking about, but sometimes the macro strategies are just as important. And also, at the very end, we play games with these entrepreneurs. I love games. I make up a bunch. And so we play these games with these entrepreneurs. So please go check it out. It is on your podcast feeds as well. So if you go to appmasters.com/GWE-iTunes, you'll find it there. Or you can search for it on all your favorite podcast apps. Just search for Steve P. Young and you'll find it there as well. All right, guys. Till next time, I'll see you on the next video.